A Sunday night showdown sees the Ottawa Redblacks visit Toronto to take on the Argonauts, and finally we're back here at BMO Field. Hi everybody, welcome to Keys to the Game. Mike Hogan, Sean Bowen here with you. Hoagie, Week 10, just 2 home games, and 3 home games, I guess if you want to count Touchdown Atlantic, but finally good to be back here on the hallowed grounds that is BMO Field. I know you're excited for this one as the 6-1 Argonauts tangle with the 3-4 Ottawa Redblacks, and let's start with some great news. Chad Kelly, who sustained an injury last Friday in Calgary to his ankle, at practice this week, and everything's trending towards him playing this Sunday.
Yeah, after the game, Coach Dinwiddie said he was in all likelihood sure that he'd be able to play this week. I mean, Kelly, not Dinwiddie, a quarterback, but he said that Chad would probably be able to go, and so far, as we do this, it looks like he's ready to go, so that's good news. Maybe he may have played through that last week if it was a playoff game. I'm glad it was a precautionary move to get him out of there because a mid-season game against a non-divisional rival is far less important than a playoff game. So making sure he missed one half of one game as opposed to 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, much better call. So especially with the bye week coming up next week, it gives Chad a lot of time that if he does still have a little bit of discomfort this week, he's got more time for it to completely heal. But I asked him yesterday when I saw him how he felt. He said fine. So I'll take the man at his word.
Oh, that's the benefit of being 6-1, right? You're allowed to kind of rest when you need to. All right, let's stick with the offense and AJ Ouellette, Hoagie. Last 2 weeks, not AJ numbers. 34 and 30 yards rushing. How do we get the big man more involved here in the offense?
I guess the obvious one would be more touches, but the game is going to dictate how much he gets the ball. They didn't have the ball very much last week. Calgary did a great job. Tip your hat to them. They did a great job of maintaining possession of the football. That's going to give your running backs fewer touches when you find yourself behind by a couple of scores. It's going to negate some touches even more. If you get the lead on this field with this crowd and the offensive line starting to feel a little bit, he'll be fine. I think it's just the game has dictated what AJ has done more than anything else, and that's no disrespect to the Stampeders, who did a nice job, but they didn't have to do a nice job often because AJ just wasn't getting the touches.
You want to talk about the O-line as well? I mean, you wrote a great article on Peter Nicastro. I mean, if you can elaborate on just what he brings to the team and what he brings to that O-line as well.
He's nasty. I love seeing guys like Nicastro who are quiet puppy dogs off the field, and then when they get between the lines, it's and there's a lot of guys like that. McKellar doesn't say anything around here. Between the lines, he's nasty.
Yeah.
I love seeing guys like that, and that's who they are. And, he played with Sirocco at the University of Calgary. They've been reunited here this year. There's a chemistry there on and off the field. So with the depth that the Argos have, and with Richards getting healthy and Sirocco back this week, it's a really good group.
Shout out Mr. Nicastro. He brought some sandwiches for the fellas after the game in Calgary. Those things were delicious. Okay, so from one O-line to another O-line, and we look at Ottawa's offensive line. Dustin Crum has been sacked 27 times this year. That's insane when you actually think about it. 27 times he's been on his back. The defensive line for Toronto is going to have to get after this guy. They've suffered 2 straight losses after he came in for Jeremiah Masoli. Kind of took the league by storm, winning 2 overtime games. What's the key to getting after him and making sure that he can't use his legs and maybe use his arm a little bit as well?
I would think keep him in the pocket, which is easier said than done. If the defensive ends maybe get too deep, that can be problematic because it opens up a couple of other running lanes. I think it's incumbent upon the second level to be there. We've seen teams run spy against him. I don't know if the Argos will go that far, but you have to be aware of him. He can only not only make plays with his arm, but with his legs.
Yeah.
And we've seen him win games at the end or come close to winning games at the end with some pretty dynamic scrambles. So you have to be aware of this guy. And Corey Mace is going to have a game plan.
I was just going to say.
And it's guys doing the responsible things and not trying to do too much.
Yeah.
Mace will put them in the right place. Do what they're asked to do. Try not to do too much, and I think they'll do a very good job.
Looking forward to Sunday for sure. If you are coming down Sunday, our resident tour guide, Toronto expert, parking authority master, Mike Hogan, let everyone know what what roads are closed and where to park.
Okay, I'm coming in from Whitby. So for those of you like me who usually take the GO train on Lakeshore East, no GO train this weekend. GO buses, yes.
Yeah.
So you can take the GO bus, but you can't take the GO train either way. Now, if you were to get a shot this way, you would see they are setting up the CNE. which means reduced parking. So the south lot will be reduced, but there will be some parking in the south lot. There's a kids concert starting at 4 o'clock at Budweiser Stage, so there should be some available at Ontario Place. There's Liberty Village. You go down here to Medieval Times. There's some parking there. Just plan ahead if you can. It'll save you a lot of hassle.
Traffic reports on the 10, every 10 with Mike Hogan. Yeah, helicopter reports with Mike Hogan. I don't know what it is that he doesn't do here for this organization, but that's why he's the best. It's Toronto versus Ottawa this Sunday. We're finally back at BMO Field. It all goes down 7 p.m. this Sunday, and we cannot wait to see you here making a ton of noise at BMO Field.